Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about this person by the name of HeelvsBabyface who complained over pronouns being added to a video game called Starfield. Starfield is a space action role-playing game developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks from the creators of Skyrim and Fallout 4. Starfield is set in an area that extends outward from the solar system for approximately 50 light years called the Settled Systems. Around the year 2310, the two largest factions in the game, the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, which these two groups engage in a conflict called the Colony War. Alright, now, since I'm done with the summary of the game, on with the first clip.
Hey everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. This Friday just gone, we had the early access release for Starfield. Some people are loving it. Some people, not so much. Me personally, after 25 hours or so into the game, I'm struggling. I'll just be completely honest. When you're in a built-up area, some of it graphically can look very nice indeed. The gameplay is solid enough when you're actually doing something, but that's half the problem. I've found the explorative nature of this game exceedingly dull and boring. I've found the characters not remotely engaging, and the dialogue has a lot to be desired.
As long as the credits keep rolling in, life's good.
But having an opinion on the internet, well, heaven forbid anyone have one of those. But this video isn't about that. I'm not going to treat you like you don't know what is actually going on. Towards the beginning of the game, the character creation, we were greeted with a pronoun option, so very current day of Bethesda, because it appears at some point during the last couple of years, Pete Hines seems to have forgotten what gender he is. Never mind. So I went on a little bit of a rant to my streaming audience because I was unhappy with the fact that in every aspect of our entertainment today, we seem to be pulled out because the people creating it are more concerned with inserting current day into absolutely everything.
Pete Hines is the Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Communications at Bethesda Networks. Now, I can understand where Babyface is coming from, as well someone's gender expression typically aligns with their gender identity, although it is not all the time though. Regarding Pete Hines adding his pronouns, I don't see the problem with this. Pete Hines could just be adding his pronouns because it is a trending thing to do on Twitter. The platform Twitter is called X, but I'm still going to refer to it as Twitter. Now, on with the second clip, but after this clip, I will be explaining the politics behind the pronouns and why it sparked a backlash online.
Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my God, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every conceivable opportunity so you current dayers. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Pronouns! Gender ambiguity! Current day Californian shit! Because that's all we know! Because we're boring! We're so boring! We can't see past our own reflection! That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western Game Company. Fuck your immersion. Fuck you having a good time. Fuck you falling into a world and just getting lost. No, no, no. Current day. Fuck off. You're boring. You're dull. You have nothing to say. You are a one-hived mind twat waffle. That's all you are. And you wonder why people are getting so sick and tired. You take everything we love, all our immersions, all our fantasies, all our escapism, and you just can't help shovel your dog shit crap ideology into everything. every thing!
So the pronouns all they added in the game was he, him, she, her, and they, them, but not neopronouns, ironically. If they wanted to be outright about pronouns, they should include neopronouns, noun self pronouns, and emoji pronouns. Neopronouns are pronouns beyond he, she, they, such as ze, them, am, and fey, fem. Noun selves are simply just nouns as a pronoun, such as potato, potato self, and emojis, well, I'm not sure how people use that as an emoji. Better yet, if they want to go beyond pronouns, just do this. I will illustrate my point by proposing 4 tenets for the audience to keep in mind without going into full-on gender studies. Gender studies, for those who don't know, is an interdisciplinary field of academic study that explores and analyzes the social, cultural, historical, and political aspects of gender. Gender is the associated behaviors and expectations of males and females. Sex refers to the set of biological traits that distinguishes between endosex bodies and intersex bodies, or simply, the study of the expectations and behaviors of men and women across societies. For those who don't know, endosex is the opposite of intersex. Intersex refers to male and female bodies that do not fit normative ideas of male and female bodies. The 4 tenets to keep in mind regarding gender are these 4 concepts. Gender modality. Gender modality is a referent or correspondence between one's assigned sex or sex and one's gender identity. Gender identity is an internal sense of being male, female, both, or something else. Within the definition of gender identity, male is someone of the sex that can typically produce sperm, and female is someone of the sex that can typically produce eggs, or having the association of the 2 main gender identities that can include femininity or masculinity and other cultural and sociological understandings that arise from patterns observed from culture and sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism refers to the differences between the sexes. Gender expression is how one expresses one's identity in relation to an inner sense of performance. Gender role is what society has assigned to our expected behavior. Now, sex is binary if defined by gametes, but if someone were to define sex solely by gametes and think there are no outliers to anything, or just simply ignoring outliers, this is a form of essentialism. Essentialism is the belief that there are traits that are inalienable to a category. Think of a tree. What makes a tree a tree? Is it still a tree if you chopped it all up and turned it into a chair? This is a fallacy. A fallacy is an error in how one reasons. This would be the appeal to purity logical fallacy, also known as no true Scotsman fallacy. This is not to say someone is wrong, but how they reasoned is incorrect. They can still be correct, but still reason incorrectly. The philosophy of logic deals with how one reasons. For example, I want to eat breakfast because it is a traditional thing to do. This is an appeal to tradition fallacy, but I'm still correct. But how I got there is not correct. To fix this, I should say I want to eat breakfast to nourish my body. This is not to say sex is not binary. It depends on the context as to what someone means and what is the purpose behind the speaker. But if someone is trying to absolutize the category of sex, ask them this question. What is a single attribute that is uniquely distinct of males and of females, and are they fixed attributes, and can you find any attribute that is uniquely fixed? If they cannot, then they are essentialists, which means they are wrong. If sex cannot be ascertained solely by sight, genital expression, or a tool, then they fail to absolutize the sex categories. There are people born with a lack of a penis. This is called penalogenesis. There are people born with a lack of vagina. This is called vaginalogenesis. As to whether intersex is a disorder, I will say it is a natural thing. According to Planned Parenthood, now some sites still label it as a disorder because in the past it was labeled as such, so some sites will still say disorder of the sex development instead of the term differences of sex development. The reason why it is not a disorder is because there is no special treatment that needs to be done. So there are things called Sawyer syndrome and other conditions. I will leave the sources down below for those who want to check for outliers in sex. In the society that we live in a system, the system being cis-normativity as the ideology and cis-sexism as the oppression, or the mode of control being cis-sexism. Cisnormativity refers to the actions and behaviors in society that makes us think of and understand cisgender as the default. Cissexism refers to the oppression resulted from the ideology. Think of, well, a toilet. A toilet is designed for the purpose of people to dispose their waste out of their body and to reduce environmental harm. See, the toilet, you have the valve, the bowl, the float, tank, and the seat. The toilet seat is designed for the use, again, for disposing waste. The idea behind a toilet is to dispose waste. The creator's goal is to reduce environmental harm. So it starts with an idea, and the idea creates the control being the sewage pipe, the waste going into the sewage pipe. Just as the mechanism of the toilet is to dispose waste and the motive is to reduce environmental harm. Just as with cisnormativity as a mechanism is to treat everyone as if they are all cisgender as the norm, and motive or form of control is to rigidly treat and correct everyone within according to the norm. For those who may not know, normal refers to that which conforms to norms, norms being our everyday behavior that instinctively guide us, and normative refers to what we perceive as normal. The toilet analogy is to give you an understanding of how transgender people are disadvantaged by thinking of it as a system of networks. Despite how silly it is, cissexism, also known as systemic transphobia, appears interpersonally when we greet everyone by ladies and gentlemen, institutionally when there are only tampons available in the women's restroom despite some trans men needing them in their restroom. Structurally would be an office building setup with only 2 restrooms despite there being a gender fluid person who works there who changes from male to female as the 2 genders they change in. Only the person who designed it only thought of 2 genders in mind, and it is so ingrained that they think little of making a third option being gender neutral or unisex to accommodate for potential non-binary clients who are outside of the binary. The binary being that people that are only outside of the binary. For those who don't know, transgender is just an umbrella, and that means that non-binary people are transgender, but there are parts to where people are just outside the binary and not only going to be just male female, but they can be neutral. Alright guys, this video is over. I want to let y'all know to give feedbacks, and the next video will be about One Piece. Peace out, my nakamas.